Oh, we are live. Oh la la. Oh la la.
Bravo.
Hello.
Bravo.
Bravo. Bravo. Are you flirting with me?
Am I? Do I even know how to do that? With gorgeous women such as yourself? Oh no. Me?
I'm just saying that I love when guys have fun and play and have no agenda. So Mohnish is we're going to have a conversation tonight, and this is the first time, I'm going to be really honest, that we haven't talked in person, but there's an energy there on a conversation that I desire to have, that I do know. So we are going to talk about I'd like to know a little bit more about your journey, you know, a little bit of information about you for people watching, and then we will talk to the entities and what you facilitate. How about that? Would that be fun?
Sounds good. Well, thank you, first of all. Thank you, Rachel, for having me on board and creating this space for us to be able to talk about it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mohnish Malhotra. I'm a certified facilitator of access consciousness and a talk to the entities facilitator. I really stumbled upon access by an accident, or was it an accident? Like it literally reached out to me in a desperate moment of help and cry and everything. So to keep it short and simple, or maybe not so short, I was struggling with life and living, or just being alive. And
Me too.
yeah, and how many of us are, and we don't just acknowledge it and keep going on, thinking that one day it'll change, hopes and dreams.
Hoping something is going to come out of the sky and help me somewhere, please.
Exactly. So what are the hopes and dreams that only you can fulfill for yourself, and everything that doesn't allow it? Right, wrong, good, bad, online, boys and beyond.
There's a
So
lot of
my sense was,
there's a lot
go
of
ahead.
there's a lot of new people watching our Facebook lives at the moment. So I would just like to say to people, if you've come across myself and Mohnish talking and you're interested in what the hell is this POC and pod thing, go to the clearingstatement.com where Dr. Dane here will talk about it. The other thing, when we say we're access consciousness facilitators, to facilitate means to make an area of your life more ease. That is natural for us because we have gone through, I would say, severe challenges with being alive and being on the planet. And now you can only look at our faces and look in Mohnish's eyes and see the level of joy and the level of playfulness and the living that we now have been able to access through our choices.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. So I literally made a U-turn from the door of death quite a few times, like quite a few times. And basically, I was making money. I had the so-called friends and a little bit of glamour in life. You know, what you usually hope for, like a life that you watch on TV.
Yeah.
How to grow, how to be popular, how to be likable, etc.
I get it's
And
like sorry.
yeah, go for it, Rachel, go for it.
When you say that, I get it's like you had been brainwashed to believe that you have the cars, you have the suits, you have the money, you have the bling bling, and it's like you're this plastic figure in your life. It's like it's like a doll in your life that you're not actually living, breathing. Your soul isn't fulfilled is the only way to put it.
Yeah, and also in my point of view, it's not wrong to have those things. It's great to have those amazing things, but is there enough elasticity under that plasticity? And that is what was missing in my life, so to say. So I was diagnosed as a manic depressive, the paranoid schizophrenic, borderline personality.
Should I run now? Should I run now?
The thing is, you can run as much as you want. Where will you run to? At least that's what occurred with me. Where do I run to now?
You can only
So I
run
went
for
to
so
the
long.
doctor. Yeah. And then in that, what's funny is every new doctor I went to had a new diagnosis for me, which was amazing and quite amusing. Like I was like this guinea pig for them to practice their degree and diagnose me.
I'll find a way to
That was
fix
one of
it.
the. And then the other thing was I was severely addicted to drugs, narcotics, and pharmaceuticals. In this whole scheme of things, I'd forgotten how to sleep naturally. And for 5 or 6 years, I didn't really sleep. There would be days I'd take like 10, 15, sometimes even 20 pills to sleep, and I still
Wow.
wouldn't.
Wow.
So that was incredible. And I would turn up like music or some TV. I don't know what I was scared of, but I was scared. Or so they told me that you're scared. So they told me I was psychotic. Yeah.
So he was psychotic, he was manic depressive, he was bipolar, and then okay, so this carried on for not a short period of time. This went on for quite a long period of time. And
Yeah. 8 years. And then I realized I was psychic.
psychotic or psychic? Psychotic or psychic?
Yeah.
Psychotic or psychic?
Yeah.
Capacity or curse? You know what I mean? Ability or disability? Yeah.
Ability or disability. And that was the whole sense of, trying to look at it now after a few years of using the access tools. And I, in this period, had many incidents where I tried to kill myself, but discreetly. Like I create accidents.
And when I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at the suicide attempt. I had two suicide attempts, and the reason I'm laughing is that I actually went to kill myself and I was drowning in the water and my lungs were filling up with water. And in that moment, I was doing a lot of spirituality, and I could hear this question. The question is the universe a friendly place? And I recognized in that moment that if I was going to leave, I had the point of view that life on this planet was difficult and I couldn't have peace here. So the universe is hilarious. So while my lungs are filling up and I'm underwater, I recognize that I have this point of view about being on this planet, that life is difficult, life is hard, I can't have peace here. And I get this level of peace in the water and I'm like, whoa. So we're just to be super clear for people that are out there in mental, emotional distress, we're just saying that there is this like cosmic joke where everything is the opposite of what appears to be. And what I do know about the people that we both work with is they have a level of awareness, a level of caring, a level of loving that is so phenomenally beautiful that if it's not nurtured and cared for, and I want to say, Mohnish, the acknowledgement of how different we are, then all of life becomes a curse instead of a beauty, the beauty underneath it, you know.
When you turned into a fish, your fishy business went away.
You're the first person ever to say that.
I'm glad.
Well, that's so funny because every time I did go in the water, and anytime I ever went in the water, all of that like madness, insanity, you're not good enough, there's something wrong with you, you're on your own, you know, all of that just absolutely melted out of my world. Thank you. Now, he's shown me that just so that you guys, the kindness that he is he showed me that because he knows that's something that contributes to my life. Like that level of caring when it's not, I want to say harvested. So talk to the entities. Tell us about talk to the entities. We could actually stay here for like forever talking, you know?
Yeah, just in a moment. So just to kind of wrap up the previous thread of the story. So I've had these multiple accidents where I was trying to kill myself discreetly, like not make it look like a suicide, make it look like an accident, so that people who I was leaving behind won't be embarrassed to find out that how unhappy I actually was.
Oh,
But that was again a level of caring in my world that I didn't want anyone else to feel bad about my sadness or depression, or didn't want them to feel responsible that they couldn't contribute enough for me or towards me. And I remember
thank
there
you for
was this
saying that.
time, yeah, there was this time I woke up in my house. I drugged up and partied out and had those pills. And I woke up with my room on fire. Like my bed was on fire. The duvet on top of my body was burning. Curtains were burning. And like at this moment, I opened my eyes and I was like, it's smoky and fiery. I'm like, am I in hell? Is this hell? But no, it wasn't. So I put out that fire and I just had this crazy thought in my head. This thing about dying and like you said, Rachel, underwater. My experience was in the middle of fire. Like this whole dying thing is not really a sure shot solution. I keep failing at
Exactly.
that also.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it may be a reset, but it's not the only reset. And that's where I kind of left it. And 2 days later, someone in my office showed up who was a facilitator of access consciousness. And then I kind of spoke about this whole thing with them, what I was going through. I did one session with that person.
One session.
And one session, yeah. It was about an hour and a half. And in that session, they were like talking about entities and demons and things like that, and POC and POD and right and wrong. And I was like, huh? What are you saying? But never mind. They did what they did. They asked me some questions, and it's funny. I didn't know answers to those questions, but somehow I kept saying yes or no. I just knew when they were asking.
Oh, my Wi-Fi. Oh, folks, he will be back. I'm not sure if it's my Wi-Fi. Let me see what else is possible.
I had the urge even.
Oh, I froze or you froze. I lost you for a while, darling. Can you see us, folks? I think we have a problem with the Wi-Fi, but give us a moment and we'll come back. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. We can see you. Okay, thanks so much. So give it a second. Mohnish will be back. Here he is. Oh, yay. Here he is. So we were talking about yay, your Wi-Fi. We lost you.
Yeah, last. So that was basically, I never had to look back at what my life was before that session. And then that is, a few days later, I was like, this this thing is so effective. What is access consciousness, and what is talk to the entities, and who are these people, Gary and Shannon and Dane? What are these guys doing? I'd like to know more. So I sort of started taking some time out from what I was doing and learning this. And now fast forward a few years, I'm also a facilitator and privileged to contribute this to the planet, to people who would like to choose it.
Yeah, because that's
Like,
one of the things. There comes a point where you've got to be willing to change something, or else you know that you can't go on. Like that, one of the things that I see, you've got to be really willing to have change in your life, and the people that are, boom, that fast transformation takes place.
exactly. I mean, there is free flowing oxygen everywhere, and still some people choose to suffocate. So, awareness is for all. It's not just for the believers, it's actually for all. The minute you choose it, the moment you choose it, minute is actually too long. The moment you choose it, you're in.
Totally.
And
And I'm so glad that you said that this is not like a privilege only bestowed upon some. You know, that's not the way this works. Consciousness is available, and everything is available for those who actually choose it and are willing to have it, you know?
yeah, there is no initiation, so to say. It's a built-in feature we all have. It's just that we've never accessed it. You know, a funny story is I came from Russia to India and it was cold, and I was looking at this AC trying to turn the heat on, and I didn't know if it had the feature. But the house help comes and says, yeah, it does have the heating feature. Before that day, nobody had turned the air conditioning for heating. And I was like, okay, so this has always been there. I just never looked at it, how to use it.
Yeah.
So, what are the features? What are the activations you all already have that we can just press the button on now?
Boom. Connecting.
Boom.
Done deal. Connecting.
Yeah. So, that is just a little bit of an introduction of what inspires me to talk about entities and my life, which was a great contribution. Now, everything around us communicates with us, even like the inanimate objects and the earth and the consciousness. I'd
Even,
heard that.
even the
Yeah, I'd
wall.
heard that. I never quite fully understood it till I personally started doing talk to the entities, because ghosts communicate spherically. They don't communicate word by word linearly through time. So there was no time. There was just space and spherical conversation, communication. When I started tapping into it, I could perceive future, money, bank accounts, business, possibilities, all of that, you know, practicing on that skill. So that's been quite incredible. And it might just be going over your head right now, what I'm trying to say. But for some of you, it might just make sense. So you're like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Like, for example, I'm talking about intuition. You enter a room and you have this feeling in your stomach. You know, something is up here. What do you think that is? It's that the surrounding is communicating to you and your body is giving you information. Your body is a sensorial organism. And similarly,
Feeding you
you're
information
an
about
entity.
your surroundings all the time.
Yeah, you're an entity, but you have a body. So you're connected to all other entities also, some through bodies and some outside.
And I love these conversations. I mean, I we haven't talked about this before, but I grew up in Ireland and my grandmother was extremely psychic. So it was a natural part. I was
Leprechauns of Ireland.
and the goblins that have the money.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's a level of magic that she had access to, but her daughters and her sons didn't really want to know about that reality. But she would have
yeah,
talked a lot to myself and my sister about it, and
yeah,
it's just it's such a beautiful capacity and skill. And I've this story is a beautiful story. When I was a little girl, I was about like 4 years old, and I woke up and went downstairs, and my grandmother was smoking these like they were called Player cigarettes. And I said, what's going on, Nan? How come you're awake? And she said, I'm waiting for a call. And at the time, I was like 4 years of age, and I went up and I went back into bed. And when I got up out of bed the next morning, her brother had died in the UK. We were living in Ireland, and she was gone off. So she actually knew because she had that spherical awareness of entities, and they contributed to her. So she's waiting for the call to go be with her brother, which is like, it's just so lovely that, you know, we've got support that work. So there's, and the other thing is, you'll talk more about this, but there's entities that are non-contributory, there's ones that like disrupt your life, as in your case. And yeah, so yeah.
So there are three things you can do with entities, and that covers all entities. It's clearing, communicating, and receiving. Now that's the whole spectrum of it. You know, like for example, bacteria in your body. The bad bacteria you need to clear. You know, the good bacteria, your brain needs to communicate to your body constantly, produce more good bacteria. And then having that good bacteria allows you to receive more help. So you could even just, it can be that simple. There is this whole spectrum of entities. Some are there to just clear, who will go away and make your life easier. Some are there to communicate, who are just trying to give you a message or handle something with someone else through you because you can hear them, or trying to contribute something to you. Now, this is actually the whole crux of the kingdom of entities. It's clearing, communicating, and receiving. There is not a fourth thing we know yet. And out of this three, it allows you to first get out of pain, make your own life easy. Like, for example, the voices I heard and the depression I thought I had was not really depression, was actually an acute awareness of everything around me, including ghosts, which I tried to numb with alcohol and drugs, which only exponentialized it.
Yeah, it turns it up.
So, yeah. And that, when that started to wean off, when I could just relax into what was truly going on, it was this world of possibilities open. I was working with this woman who's a lawyer in Sao Paulo. She's about 50 years old.
Where he's living right now.
She, right? And she comes to class and we're having this conversation. On day one, towards the end of the class, she talks about it's been 50 years, she's not switched her light off to sleep because she's afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, there were some beings trying to communicate with her, and she, when she was more relaxed at night, she could perceive them more. It's not that they come at night. So there are a lot of those myths. They were always there. But when her senses were relaxed, she would pick up on them, and then she had to turn the light on. So we worked, we used some tools, we did some clearings, we did some processing. Day two, she comes and she's like, I slept with my lights off for the first time in 50 years. And that may sound like a small thing to somebody, but for her, it was her whole life changed in just this process. So people have different things going on. Sometimes it's connected to entity awareness. And I wonder if you are one of those people.
And that's the question. I mean, if this is, you'll know, like what we always say in Access, you'll know what's real and true for you. And if you say they're talking a load of shite, then just leave, you know, I mean, this is either something that pings for you and you know, I mean, if for me, I had a lot of awareness of entities that cause destruction, you know, around the people that I grew up with. So, you know, these were entities that actually destroyed my body and create judgment is an energy of destruction. It's a stuck point of view in your life. And a lot of people know this, but they don't know how to change it. And for me,
Yeah.
when I did the first Talk to Entities class with Shannon in 2012, it completely transformed my life. Completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a huge world, and we would really ask you, what do you know?
And what kind of world, we all know, we as infinite beings don't die. So what kind of world would you like when your body goes? If you wanted to talk to someone, so what future would you like to create?
Exactly.
If you wanted to talk to somebody, could you do that with ease with what we're trying to create now? So that's one of the things. And then second thing is, it's to give you choice.
Yes.
Of, you know, whether you want to deal with them or not. It's just to give you the tools of how to use your awareness. You don't have to become a facilitator, or you could, if that is of interest to you. But this to give you a choice point where you're no longer the effect of it. Did I say it correct?
You sure did. Yeah, you're no longer the effect. And I love what you're saying. There's a big response to our life. I'm watching on my phone, people are saying this information is golden. It saved my life when I acknowledged entities. One of the things that we would like to say is that a lot of people come into access with a no choice universe. They believe they don't have choice and they can't change it. I truly thought that I'd be abusing myself for the rest of my life, either with food or hatred or whatever that was destroying my life and my body. And I had bought the point of view that it was unchangeable, so I had a no choice universe. And
Yeah.
what we would, the reason that we show up and be in the world is we're interested in change, transformation, and transpiration of a greater future.
Yeah.
And for me, when I chose, isn't it so funny that my children's lives got greater once I got happier? You know what I mean? And we would like you to get to the place where you have this sense that you have a choice of a life that actually works for you. And even us having this conversation is now reminding me of how much pain and suffering I really was in. And I didn't know that there was this whole universe that was available to me that could contribute to me, and that there was nothing wrong with me. And the big and is that nobody had given me the tools in which I could create my life.
Exactly. And what you're saying is, Rachel, like Gary, I was in a class with him. Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Consciousness. He asked me to look at my life from here 10 years into the past. And he asked me, look at 10 years into the past and see what are the problems you still have. And I was like, holy moly, I am so grateful for every little choice that has brought me here. And now, if I keep choosing, what would my life be in another 10 years from now?
And I love you said that, because the future unfolds. It's not that it shows up in just like, you know, that's not the way it works. The future actually unfolds with every choice you make and moving and every possibility.
Yeah, a little tiny seed of tomato can grow into a sapling, then a plant, and then start giving you more tomatoes. It's the
Exactly.
unfolding of the universe, which is miraculous. And how does it get better? So, one of the things I'd like to just do here, if possible, for all of you, is to share one simple clearing tool, whether you come to class or not, and then we will tell you about the schedule that we have. So, but before we get to the agenda of schedule, if you'd like to just close your eyes for a moment and sense the being that you are all around your body, tap into the molecules of the space you're in, like fill up your house or the building you're in with your energy. And yeah, if you want to expand to the next house, left and right, you could. You have a choice. And now just tap into all of the entities that you perceive. And just say hello. Where is your body? And as you say hello, where is your body? There is that movement of consciousness that begins. You're just acknowledging them that, oh, they have crossed over. Because a lot of them don't know their body's gone. And in just doing so, you've given them a choice to choose again. And have you have facilitated, yes, this is what facilitation is. You have facilitated more choice through by simply asking this one question and saying hello. Hello was the acknowledgement of what they are. They're an energy without a body. And just where is your body is the question that created a whole universe.
Because they have to go, oh, where is it?
Yeah. And oh, boom, gone, done. It can be that simple. And we will do one clearing. So you can keep your eyes open, you can close them however you like, just really expand out. And clearing is a question. Truth, who are you? Truth, who are you before that? 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 And truth, who would you be in the future? And you can go now. Thank you. So, the simplicity and effectiveness of these tools is beyond my comprehension or my verbiage. It's
They
not
are,
verbal.
they are so
Incredible.
simple and effective. They are, this is the thing, like I'm a pragmatic chick, and you know, they are so simple and effective. They work, they create change, and you know what? This shit works.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that Shannon has spoken about in her new book, Shannon O'Hara, by the way, is the founder of Talk to the Entities. She's Gary Douglas's stepdaughter. She said before 1928, common cold was killing people because there were no antibiotics. And in 28, we had penicillin. And then nobody had to sneeze over anyone else or die of common cold and fever. Just a little pill could handle that whole insanity, which was almost to the point of fatality. So this is just using which tool to use, in this case, asking the entities a question. Clear.
And I love how you describe this, because it's only a stuck point of view in time. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Not for years ago, people made so much drama and upset about entities or ghosts. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It's only a stuck point of view in time, and things can move when the person, not person, but when the ghost gets the information that they require to move on.
Thanks for saying that, Rachel. I mean, look at Christianity or the concept of God. Nobody knows God like in a communication terms on the hotline. So there are these concepts and informations that float around in different languages, in different religions, in different countries, most of them designed to control. There were some smart people who figured this out about ghosts, because you can't see them normally. So let's put that into horror movie and make a multi-billionaire economy. You know, the horror movie is actually bringing the most revenue in the cinema industry. I don't know how many people know that, but it is true. Horror flicks are the most revenue generating thing. People actually pay to get horrified because they love horror movies. So now that's the brilliance of what sometimes we think is traumatic and dramatic. Sometimes there's a brilliance behind it. Okay, people are afraid of so and so. Let's make that into a business.
Give them what they want. They want to go get scared. Give it to them.
Exactly. So here is what we are proposing. We're starting on the 9th of June. And we'll go on till the 19th of June. And
it's a
I
marathon.
can read this and then, it's a bit of a marathon. Like the way I have scheduled this is, there are 11 calls. First few calls, you get a hang of how to clear these entities. And these are all specialty topics, actually, which will not just allow you to clear them, but get an in-depth
education,
awareness, introduction to the whole subject. And there is more to learn if you'd like. So there is clear, communicate, and receive through these calls. That's possible, should you choose. On the 9th of June, we're doing clearing haunted houses. For example, if you live in a haunted house or you are a real estate person, would like to know more about, or just more peace in your house. If you hear something funky at night, you can clear your house.
And a lot of realtors know about this.
Sorry, go ahead.
A lot of realtors know about this. They know the houses.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I was working with this one woman in Kazakhstan. She made $50,000 next month by using these tools. She sold 2 houses nobody was picking up by clearing those entities, which is amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. I need to include my finder's fee there.
Exactly.
And on 10th and 11th, we are doing communicating with entities, which you'll be given a flow chart. And if there is someone who's there to talk to you, that flow chart assists you with a series of questions on how to go about this communication. The third one on the 11th is called walk-ins. Walk-ins is a phenomena that is very normal for bodies and the earth to recycle beings. Like when I woke up with my bed on fire, I am a new being. I came into this body and the previous beings left. So this term is called walk-ins. Sometimes, when you wake up in your life, you don't recognize your husband, your mother, your job, your children. You might be a walk-in when you don't make sense of anything in your life, what was till yesterday. So that might be really helpful for some of you. Or like,
some of you might be delighted.
Why is this person calling me mother? Who are you? Then there are some entities who don't go away even when their body is dead because they are holding on to the relationship. Sometimes people are holding on to those relationships. So entities and relationships allow you to navigate and trudge through that pathway. Because talking to entities is 50% clearing and 50% relationship. A person or a being would not hang around you if they or you didn't have the point of view that they are your grandfather and you're the grandson.
Exactly.
So when you sort of facilitate choice there, they have more ease with choosing again.
Can I just say that sometimes you might even recognize that you have a point of view that's holding that relationship in place. And then you get on class and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was there. Cool.
Always. And then we go on to entities and addictions. You know someone who's really on to drugs, alcohol, or something else. There is an additional tool that we share about entities through this call. And also letting you see that the primary addiction that pretty much everyone has is to, self-judgment.
Yep.
What judgment you have in place that you're trying to numb with all these addictions. On the 14th, we do entities and mental disorders, which I'm a mouthpiece for.
Exactly. He knows just a little bit about this one.
Yeah.
He's done his research, I'd say.
Yes, absolutely. And living, breathing example who actually is successful with the recovery. Not everyone does do the recovery route. I did, so I can talk about it.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Then we go
I
on
did
to
recovery.
Yeah, and Rachael, of course.
Yeah.
And so many of us do if we choose, right?
Yeah. And I did the recovery through other ways as well that didn't work for me. That still had judgment of what I was. And that I didn't see a big success in this area. So basically, all addiction is birthed from there's something wrong with me and massive awareness, and you're looking to numb out that. But this will go into detail in the call.
Yeah, exactly. And there's always some awareness underneath that we don't want to be aware of. And most often it turns out to be a capacity rather than a limitation.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we go into birth and death with entities. This call allows you to go into a conversation about coming and going with ease. You've had many lifetimes before this. What did you create in those lifetimes that you refuse to receive now because you're dead there? What if you're never dead? And what kind of world would you like to see when your body dies? So birth and death. On the 16th, we're having a conversation about children and entities, which is incredible. Children and animals are dynamically receiving all awareness, including the entities. And you were a child once. So what were you aware of? And what did you put in place to stop being that powerful receiver of all energies? And then 17th, 18th, and 19th, it's a deep dive into receiving conversations with entities, which is spirits of the earth, creating with entities, and money and entities. And in my point of view, there is some of that other stuff of clearing, communicating, and the backlog that needs to be dealt with
before we get into
it. Yeah. spirit of the earth, creating with entities, money and entities. Of course, all of these calls, you can choose all of them. They're about 2.5 hours each, or a single solitary one. You have choice. Or none.
Or not. No. And this is
We're
the
just
beauty
happy to talk to you.
yeah, this is the beauty of consciousness. It's like we have no
Yeah.
point of view about whether you choose it or not. But if you know that something is going to gift you and contribute to your life,
Yeah.
it's here, and we'll be
Yeah.
here, and we'll continue to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just to wrap up, if you've chosen to wake up today, you already know something else is possible. Now, what else can you add to your life to make that more of an actualizable reality? Since you have not given up yet, what do you know?
And also, let's say thanks to everyone for being here on this planet at this time of massive transformation and change. And, you know, what choices can we make today? Like, what are our choices creating for this earth, for this planet, for the people around us? And yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a wonderful companion to sort of talk about what most people don't. And how does it get better?
How
What
does
else
it
is
get any
possible?
better? Check this guy out. I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm looking forward to more. Who else is coming?
Uh, we can maybe post the link later into the live.
Post it into
So
the
people
live.
can
I'll put it in the live and I'll put the follow up. Yeah, cool. And also, I'll put this up on YouTube because I get this information is required. So I can YouTube this as well. So you can pass it around to your friends because you might have people in your life that are struggling with addictions, particularly with birth, with death. There's so much that you can handle with this phenomenal tool of talk to the entities. Yeah, exactly.
Rachel, if there is something that's coming up, you're doing, like you're a Joy of Business facilitator and you do a whole bunch of things. Is there anything you want to mention here before we finish? On your own life? See how sneaky I am.
You know, I suppose if anyone is watching, when I did go to leave this planet, it was 2008, and I sat down and I said, okay, if I'm going to be here, something has to change. In 2012, Access came into my life. What I would say is, if you'd have told me that I adore business and that I get to meet the most amazing people all over the world that have gratitude working with me, what I would like everyone to know is you can live a life that truly lights you up. You friggin' deserve it. And the other thing that I'd like everyone to know is you can do what you love and generate an income. Nobody has to have a money problem. Anyone can do business, even if you think you're. We've never seen anyone more than what they think they are. So you can generate money, you can change things, you can have peace with your body, you can have relationships that honor you, that care for you. And if you'd like to delve into all of this, everything is available for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you. That's so beautiful, so well put and beautiful. I mean, here you're talking about business. You can choose to be a business maverick or you could be a ghost whisperer and still enjoy your life.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of choice. What would you like to choose?
What's fun for you? Mohnish,
What's
thank
fun
you
for
so
you?
much for being in the
Thank
world.
you, Rachel.
Thank you. And thanks
Thank you.
for the vulnerability and the openness. And you are a true gentleman from the tips of your toes to the tops of your head and all
Thank
the
you.
aspects of your being. I adore you.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Bye
Ciao,
bye.
bye bye.